I am your host, Liz Scott, and Heather is here as well.
I am. And I have Linda Artisani with me. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did.
Oh, good. Okay. So who's a fellow Rhode Islander, by the way. So super exciting to have her in the Satterley QuickBooks lair. So very excited.
She's in the den.
She's in the den. Right? It was so funny because I was describing it as the QuickBooks lair, and then my son was like, "We call it the dungeon." Like, great, because I'm in the finished basement part. I'm like, "Thanks for that, honey."
Oh, but don't you love being able to have a home office where you can everything's here, coffee's better.
2-minute work commute.
Right, 2 minutes, not even a 2 minute. Like I can just, stumble down here, and which is a blessing and a curse, right? Totally.
Sometimes.
But so you got to tell them, like, it is totally QuickBooks.
It's this massive room with QuickBooks everywhere.
Yeah.
All walls.
I'm a little bit of a QuickBooks geek. Yep.
We are not surprised. Totally not surprised about that.
So let's introduce our guests real quick, and then, well, you're just going to do that. See that we share a brain, Liz and I. Like as soon as like the thoughts that she's having just meld. Yeah, it's like that. So go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say we are just thankful to have A2X here. And I see your shirt, Ashley. You kind of lifted it up there for a second.
That's an awesome shirt.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Ella and Ashley got on their new shirts. Because at least that's a new looking logo.
Very cool.
Yes, this is a very special limited edition t-shirt with all of the FBA Amazon warehouse codes. You can see them kind of.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it doesn't come out very clearly.
Super
yeah.
Totally geeky.
Very geeky, yeah. Very Amazon geeky.
Very Amazon geeky. Well, we are excited that you're here and thrilled that you are drink host for the month. And I can't wait to show that part. Of course, that's one of my favorite pieces. And this time, I have to say, you win the name award.
Totally.
Yeah, if there's
the
a trophy
the
to be won for names.
But we can't tell them what it is now, right? Or is it out? Is it out? Is the cat out of the bag or no?
Not yet.
It's a secret.
No, it's coming.
So I have to interrupt. So Ashley and Ellen, we have a bunch of people saying hi to everybody. So we have Catherine from Atlanta, Kylie. Hi, Kylie. And we have, let's see. Oh, it looks like, oh my goodness. Julie, Matthew Fulton's here. Say hey, Matthew.
Hey.
Oh, we got Barbara from Maryland and Catherine from Atlanta, which I just said, and Anna Burke. Oh, I love you, Anna. Anna's here, and Melanie from Vancouver, and Fania from Minsk, Belarus. Yay! Hi. I am guessing that yes, awesome. Very excited.
This is fantastic. I love it whenever we have all of our friends together.
Absolutely.
For Appy hour time. They're going to love the drink too.
Yep.
Love that. So let me just flip over to what we're going to be doing. So going through the pieces that you need for e-commerce. And so PayPal, Amazon, both of those are very common solutions whenever you start talking about e-commerce. I think that most of us are familiar with both of those, either as you've got clients who are using those as solutions, or you personally are using those solutions. And then at the very end, we're going to do cool things that we did with an app. And Heather is going to blow your mind. I think this is fun. And I'm probably going to be doing it myself as you demo it. So I can't wait to share that. And then make sure that you're liking us on Facebook and following us on Twitter. And then
we have a Twitter contest right now. If you follow us on Twitter, we're giving away, can you grab that cool backpack over there for me, Linda? We're giving away a backpack on Friday. So if you didn't go to QuickBooks Connect, I think my cat may have slept on it. I'll dust it off before I mail it to you. If you didn't make it to QuickBooks Connect, we're going to send one lucky winner that likes our Twitter page or Facebook page this week is going to win this backpack. Yeah, nice backpack. Thank you. Yeah, it is. It's a really nice backpack.
I like those backpacks.
Yes.
That's fantastic. So make sure you like us or follow us.
Yeah, by Friday.
By Friday, yes. All right, we'll announce it on Friday, Heather. Is that what we're going to do?
Yes.
Winner?
Yes.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to just go ahead and get us started. Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right, so as far as e-commerce, talking about the different solutions that are available to us, we think of the sales channel as the way that you deliver the goods. So that's why there's all different kinds of sales channels, because there's lots of different ways to deliver goods. So even our brick and mortar stores, that's a sales channel. But whenever you're talking about e-commerce, you've got the marketplaces or the web stores. And so this is where it starts to get a little bit tricky, and you start kind of going, all right, how does my e-commerce solution work for my client? So when they call you and they say, I've got a marketplace, what that means is that they're hosting their goods on somebody else's site. But if they say that they have a web store, Shopify is a really good example of a web store. And that's where you can go out and you can actually Google that brand, or you can Google that name, and you can find that web store is the business name and it's on their website, got all of their goods and services. So that's kind of the difference between how are you selling? Are you selling with a marketplace, or are you selling with a web store? And Amazon is a good example of they do both. But where we see most of our clients using them is as a marketplace. And so they're taking their goods, and Amazon's already got this established platform, and it allows them to easily sell. And we're going to look at like exactly how that works as far as Amazon. So the pieces for e-commerce solutions. So one of the reasons why sometimes some of our clients opt into a full package solution is they don't know how to plug all these pieces in. And as an accountant, this is where we look at our client's sales channel, and we have to determine, did they properly select a sales tax tool? And why this matters is, did they actually make sure that their sales tax solution is plugged into their e-commerce solution? So it can't live outside of it. It's actually got to be integrated. And the reason for that is you've got to be able to say, how much is my liability based on that actual address? And we know zip codes can vary. So you can be a zip code over here and a zip code over here, and you've got two different sales tax liabilities. So as the accountant, we've got all these different moving pieces around e-commerce, and we've got the merchant services. So how do we receive money from our clients who are shopping us? And then the shopping cart, that's actually a solution all by itself as well. So you've got shopping carts that will allow you, and we've all had this user experience, where you go out and you go to Walmart and you say, I want these goods, and they all go over into your shopping cart, and then you can check out at one time. And some of us who used Etsy in the very beginning, you'd go to Etsy and you'd pick an item, and then you'd have to pay for it right away. It's because the shopping cart didn't allow you to actually build out a bunch of goods. It wanted you to check out with each thing that you wanted to purchase at a time. I don't know, Heather, have you ever like experienced any of that with Etsy, or you had to like kind of, you know?
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, not recently anyway. Most of the time when I'm buying something, I do have the luxury of being able to put all the things in one cart and check out in one place. And then sometimes, you know, especially with Amazon, right, it comes from a bunch of different sellers, right? So I'll have a package show up today, and then 2 days from now, I'll get a package from somebody else. But for me, it's a seamless shopping experience, which is really great.
Yes, I agree. And marketing is also another piece of that e-commerce solution. So you have to figure out, if you're going to sell on the internet, how do you advertise? So if you're the person in town to buy all of the fur coats from, everybody in your town knows that they're going to come to you for fur coats. But if you suddenly move to the internet, you've got to be able to market. So your marketing has got to be able to fit inside of your e-commerce solution. So it's got to tether in and be tied to it.
It was actually really neat. We were at QuickBooks Connect Toronto last week, and I know, Liz, you had gone to that marketing session. I was like, oh, that's great. You went to this marketing session to learn about marketing for our firms. And you were like, no, I went to learn so I can help my clients, because e-commerce is Liz's niche. And so our clients aren't just going to ask us how to make a journal entry or enter a bill. They're going to ask us, how do I market my practice? That's what they're looking for us as advisors now. It's gone so much far beyond like what we used to do for our clients. So great example there. You have to know about all these, even if you know it enough to refer them to somebody that can take really good care of them. That's enough, is to be that conduit to understand your client's needs and then connect them with the right person that can help them.
I
or the
agree.
right technology, right?
That was one of my favorite classes too, was the class that be able to look at the Google ads and how best to use your dollars.
Mm.
So it was a really good course that was offered in Toronto. Very helpful whenever it comes to looking at it from my client's perspective.
Right.
And then, not only are there the pieces that we just talked about, but there's also this inventory and warehousing and shipping. And so anytime that you start talking about e-commerce, you have all of these moving pieces, and that's where it gets tricky. And so I just recently had another accounting firm who contacted me and said, why is e-commerce so hard? Why do I feel so lost? And it was like, well, once you understand that there really are all of these moving pieces, then it makes it understandable why it feels like it's all over the place. And each solution that you use has a different way for being able to plug in all of these pieces. So understanding where QuickBooks is and how it fits in lets you understand how best to plug in all of your solutions, and then being able to take all of that sales data and put it into QuickBooks. So you kind of have to understand where do all of these pieces fit together. And one area that we're going to talk about today is we're going to really focus on the merchant services. So whenever you're selling through a sales channel, we've all heard of PayPal. And so PayPal is one merchant service solution that we've all used, and we're all familiar with it. We've all had that user experience with going over to a website and putting in your PayPal credentials and then being able to say, I want to pay with PayPal. And it's a more secure way than giving our bank account or our Visa information, MasterCard. So we're able to use our PayPal account, and then our client is able to then tally up what their fees are and push those into QuickBooks with their sales and their fees. And so this year we had Connect to PayPal that was launched. And I'm a big fan of Connect to PayPal. It's totally different than what we had before. And so you're able to go through the Connect to PayPal and see all of the fees that are associated with that transaction. So of course, whenever you're processing a payment based on the type of payment that you collect, you have fees associated with it. That's a really nice thing to be able to see whenever you're calculating how much should it cost me to make this sale.
Yeah, it's so, when you first get into the e-commerce space, there's so many moving pieces, and it's so nice when you find a solution, like Connect to PayPal or A2X that gets it, that understands the needs of the accountant and all the different areas within QuickBooks that these different moving pieces need to be recorded in. Because as we've seen, like, things have evolved over the last, I don't know,
Oh my gosh.
years, right? From basically everything just got dumped in, and it was like make journal entries to fix everything.
Awful.
And now we're finally seeing applications like A2X that give us the control over, having all of those entries recorded the way that we want, that we're getting the visibility, right?
Did you ever
Definitely.
did you ever have a client that actually hooked up PayPal and didn't know it was connected because it was just feeding into the
Yeah.
background,
Right.
thinking they were waiting for it to come up on the bank feed, and it was already
Right.
in there, and it was ugly.
My first not my first e-commerce client. I had an e-commerce client like 2 years ago, and they connected PayPal to QuickBooks. They connected, I think they were using Shopify. No, they were using Stitch Labs. They connected everything to QuickBooks because everything could connect to QuickBooks.
Right.
Oh,
That was a mess.
No,
That was a
no.
mess because, as you were talking about, the data has to flow into the appropriate apps as you're building out that tech stack, right? If you connect
Totally.
everything to QuickBooks, then you're gonna,
That's a do-over.
right. That's a do-over, right.
Well, and had to get rid of my little Slack message there. Love me some Slack. But exactly. I think that's the whole reason that the PayPal integration changed so much, is that it was aware that we were not getting the data that we wanted. Mm-hmm. And hopefully as accountants, we're able to see our clients using these more wisely, that they're not connecting everything, even though it still happens. It still happens.
It does, because, you know, a lot of business owners, you know, that are just getting started, they know they need QuickBooks. So they start with that. And then they know they're using these other apps. So they just start connecting them. They don't understand the accounting behind it and how important it is to think that through. I have a question for you, Liz, from Rochelle.
Okay.
She says PayPal integrations haven't been great with multi-currency transactions. Do you know if Connect to PayPal can sync US purchases with US PayPal account to Canadian to Canadian? Do you have any idea about
I don't know the answer to that. I only know the US case on PayPal, the Connect to PayPal.
Okay. All right. Well,
That's a really great question.
Yeah. And maybe if some of our other Canadian friends know the answer to that, if you could share that in the chat, then
It'd be very helpful.
And let Rochelle know the answer to that, because I'm not sure either.
And this is exactly like what we're talking about, that you can come over here and you can map. So how do you want all of these pieces to flow into QuickBooks? And so now we've got better control. We didn't have this much control before, and this is where it started to get out of control. Now we've got the ability to just say, we want the default settings, which this is the default settings, to be pushed into QuickBooks, or you can actually go in and do some mapping on your own. And then being able to capture, oh, this is my favorite part. So being able to capture the transaction on the bank feeds allows you to do several different things. So here's an example of, we've got the bank feed that came in, and we know that if we click that bar, that we're going to be able to have a drop down and see the rest of the transaction. So we've got over here where it's received, and we've got the $19.12, which it was a gross of $20. So we're able to tell that we have the fees that have been taken out. And at the very bottom, you see includes PayPal fee of 88 cents. So we've got all pieces. And we've got a choice to either add this as a sales receipt, or we can add this as a deposit. And so we can make a choice right here to be able to say, how would we like to push this into QuickBooks? And we didn't have that previously. So it's fantastic. The other thing that we can do is we can also see, we've got a link to go into that transaction. So if we wanted to go into PayPal and actually see what happened with this particular sale, we could actually do that from inside of QuickBooks once we accept this transaction.
Liz, I have a quick question. So when I create the sales receipt from here, is it pre-filling the data from PayPal into the sales receipt, or do I have to manually enter all of that in?
Nope, it's grabbing it.
Okay, and how about the customer? Does it add a new customer in QuickBooks automatically?
So that's part of the setup, is that you can decide, do you want that to come in? And my answer is you don't. You don't need that to be inside of QuickBooks. So I would suggest not bringing in the customer. That if you want to be able to see on granular level what they bought, who it was that purchased it, you would go back to your sales channel.
Right. And Matthew's sharing that these are great improvements, and I agree. And MB has a question. What item does it use on the sales receipt? Don't you have a mapping? Isn't there an area where you can map the product service items from PayPal to the product service items you want to use in QuickBooks, right?
Yes, it is. And so part of the setup that we didn't have before is now you can actually say, how do I want it to come into QuickBooks? And once it's pushed in, then you can even edit it at that point. So here's the bank feed, here's all of the pieces, the link to the PayPal, and then I'm going to go ahead and show the next screen, and here's exactly what MB was talking about. So we've got the products and services, so PayPal sales, and then the PayPal shipping. So again, this was mapped in the very beginning, so you could map it a different way, but if you just use the already set controls, this is what's going to happen. It's going to pull it in this way.
Just a quick question, just so I understand. So can I map different items in PayPal to different items in QuickBooks, or you can? Okay, just making sure.
Some control.
Okay.
Yeah, you only have one.
Yeah, you only had one before. I'm just making sure I'm hearing that right, because that's a huge improvement.
Yeah, and it doesn't get really granular, but you do have some control.
Okay.
And then down here in the bottom, one of my favorite things is that number 2, is that you can still go into the PayPal link, and you can launch PayPal directly from inside of QuickBooks, and you can see that transaction.
It's awesome.
And this is just one piece of this whole e-commerce solution. So the only thing that we just talked about right now is just the merchant service fees.
Right.
And so when you start to go back and you start to think about e-commerce, and that was just one example, this is where our clients start getting overwhelmed. And this is where our accounting friends start going, okay, this is more than just accounting. This is a whole bunch of technology, and I need to understand, how does my sales channel plug in all of these pieces? And this is why Amazon has become so popular. It's become the go-to, especially for new e-commerce clients, because it does have everything built into it. So they're able to sell on an established site. They're able to advertise. So Amazon's going to say, do you want to do some promoting right now? And so you can launch with Amazon. And then Amazon will also fulfill and they'll warehouse your goods for you. And then they're the last piece too, where they also collect payments. So this is the reason that Amazon is so popular, is it's an easy solution. But then the other thing is it's difficult to understand where all of your fees are.
Right. I have a quick question. I'm just going to interrupt you before you dive too deep into this. We had a question from Tina that said, if you create a sales receipt from the PayPal, how does that handle the sales tax? Does it break out the sales tax, or does it bring it all in gross, or is that part of the setup process?
That's part of the setup process. So in my thought is that you're actually going to do the sales tax calculation, not inside of QuickBooks, but actually inside of your sales channel. Mm-hmm. Because this goes back to your address. You don't want it to just be based on zip code. You want it to be very granular to be able to understand what your liabilities are. So you're going to use something that ties into your e-commerce sales channel, and that plugs in directly that sales tax calculator.
Cool. Thank you.
Sure. So the reason that Amazon is growing in popularity, and we just see it kabooming, and it's not even slowing down, it's just getting bigger and bigger, right? Is because it's this really easy place to sell that has all of these built-in customers. And I'm sure that Amazon loves me right now because I have bought all of my Christmas from Amazon. And so I keep getting a ding at the doorbell, and it's just more Amazon that's coming. So it's super easy to sell on Amazon, but it's not easy to get those sales into QuickBooks. And so one of the things that happens is you're not able to see all of your fees that are associated with that sale. And this is where I get really excited, and I'm thrilled that we have A2X here today, because that's the part that they're doing really, really well, is they're able to go in, see what you sold in Amazon, pull that out into A2X, and then create a journal entry is what they're doing, and then pushing that into QuickBooks. And so it really is another one of these middlewares that sit in between your sales channel and your QuickBooks that's able to take that data and translate it in a way that we accountants want to be able to see it, and you can reconcile to it. So the bookkeepers are very, very happy with this. Mm-hmm. I don't want to give much more away about the A2X solution. That's why we've got Ashley and Ellen here, is I want them to share with you what they're doing. They're also going to take you through some live demos. And I think that at this point, Heather, unless you've got any more questions, I'm going to do the toast.
Yeah, no, I think we're great. I think we're great. All right.
Oh, I'm so giddy about this. Okay.
No,
all right. So before I show the drink, I have to say, whenever I first saw the picture, I was like, this makes me want to be at the beach.
It does.
Right? So, Ellen.
Oh, yours is
look at your drink.
Well, I wanted to do
yours looks like that. That looks so good. So ours is cool too. Ours actually has QuickBooks on it.
Oh, wow. Shocking in the layer.
Yeah, shocking in the QuickBooks layer that we would have a QuickBooks glass.
Well, you know what's funny is I had the I got my orange out, and I was like, I'm not eating enough oranges now that it's like winter time, and it was so good.
Right.
So thanks for making me have some fruit.
So here's to A2X for helping us make our Amazon integration easier. Thank you and cheers. Yes. And I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, right, I'm totally excited. I know that we keep on hearing about A2X, so I'm thrilled that you're here.
It's very good.
Okay, all right. Well, now I'm jealous.
It's really good. I need to stir it. I'm not sure if that, I have like this little chopstick here, but I don't know how long it's been here and I'm a little afraid to put it in there. Should I just do it?
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna, if I die, it's because I used this chopstick to stir my drink. We don't know what's in it.
It's Florida orange juice, right?
It's good.
That's right.
It's good.
Oh, it's really good.
There you go.
Okay,
You can pretend you're on the beach with us.
What's that?
You can pretend you're on the beach with us. It's summer here.
Oh,
I
right.
know.
That's right. I'm jealous.
I miss
jelly.
I think that my summer drink looks really great in front of my Christmas tree.
It does. I have a beach ball over there across the office. I have a smart ball beach ball. So
I was about to ask if it was smart
We're
ball.
trying to have like a little beach
Time you're
party,
gonna come to
Linda.
Florida.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I am so
Great.
excited for this demo. Let's
Oh,
do
wait.
this.
Did we say the name of this drink? I feel like I need to go back.
It's the A2X.
On the beach.
You're going to get A2X.
A2X on the beach.
A2X on the beach.
Right?
I love it. I'm getting A2X'd. So, Ashley, Ellen, I am going to introduce you both, and I'm going to just pass it to you. So, do you want me to send the presenter to you, Ashley, or do you just want to tell me to click? It feels like you might want me to pass to you.
Yeah, if you want, I can share my screen.
Okay, so I just stopped sharing, so you should be able to share now.
Used to do this manually.
Sweet. Is that showing up for
Fantastic.
everybody?
Yes, we see you.
Excellent. All right, let me get that out of the way. And cool.
It's good.
Okay.
And we're
So,
seeing,
Ellen, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. So thank you for having us here today. So I'm Ellen. I'm doing marketing for A2X. I'm brand new to the company, so I'm really excited. And then we've got Ashley here, our software engineer. And before I pass over to Ashley for a demonstration, I just want to run over a few important things today. I want to talk about why Amazon is so important, why we should care about it. A2X solves a very specific problem, but this specific problem is a big problem for so many people. So, and then also why is Amazon accounting so hard? And then we'll discuss what A2X does to make it easy. So, all right.
fantastic.
Cool. So what does A2X actually do? A2X connects Amazon Marketplace systems to QuickBooks for reconciled accounting. A2X makes it easy to accurately account for all the sales, fees, refunds, and hundreds of other transactions for Amazon sellers. Oh, good time for my voice to go, sorry. Amazon sellers represents a huge new opportunity for accountants. Let me show you why. So, why is Amazon so important to e-commerce? Amazon is dominating e-commerce and taking an increasing share of total retail sales. As of July 2018, Amazon made up 49% of all e-commerce sales. For accountants, there is a massive opportunity to focus on the Amazon accounting niche. It's huge, fast growing, and the sellers need expert advice and input into their business.
And I'm just going to stop you there. This goes back to what I was talking about before. This is where our clients are going because it's everything built into one. We don't like the way that it goes into QuickBooks, but as far as the e-commerce solution, they've got everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's huge. So many people are joining every year, and it's just getting bigger and bigger.
It is getting bigger and bigger. So it feels like this is if you haven't learned already, this is the right time to understand Amazon and then figure out the solutions for Amazon.
Exactly. Amazon also operates 11 marketplaces and has over 5 million businesses selling on their platform. To give you a sense of how big we're talking, in 2017, Amazon Marketplace sellers sold over 2 billion items. Half of all these items on Amazon are sold by third parties. All your future clients. There we go.
All your future clients. We want them all.
Yeah.
So I've got a question since you just showed that screen. The question was, is A2X applicable in Canada as well?
Canada. That's my husband calls it. My husband, my son.
That's what I was struggling with.
Calls it
is I was-
Canada.
Yeah, let's go to Canada.
Yeah, go to Canada.
So do you want to answer that question? So is it just for a US?
Oh, no. So A2X operates across all the marketplaces as well.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we've thought of everyone. Here you go. All right, next slide. And then, all right. So you may have bought from a marketplace seller without even realizing. So Amazon sells directly, like this fancy toothbrush up here in the corner. You can see it's sold by Amazon.com. But then there's this baby food storage tray that's sold by ExportX, but it's fulfilled by Amazon. So both of these orders will arrive in an Amazon branded box. So this is why Amazon is something you should pay attention to, and why the third-party marketplace is a huge opportunity.
So what you're pointing out is that Amazon is fulfilling your order, and so you can be Amazon Prime in both of these scenarios, but how is it being, how are you hosting it on Amazon? Is that what you're pointing out right here?
Yeah, so I'm pointing out that, so a lot of the time you'll order something off Amazon and it will arrive in a Amazon box and you'll think it's from Amazon, but actually it's from a third-party market seller because it's being fulfilled by Amazon. So it's been housed in one of Amazon's warehouses, and you can get Prime, you can get it delivered, the next day because Amazon has got it in their warehouse.
And so why this matters to us accountants is how your fees are calculated. So a percentage of your fees is based on how is it delivered. So if you're clear on how it's being delivered, then you also should know that you have fees associated with Amazon being so kind to take care of that for you. Nothing's free.
That's great.
And there's hundreds of these.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So why would these millions of sellers need accounting help? Amazon must provide them excellent financial summaries like this, right?
Yes, and that FBA means fulfilled by Amazon. So you can see over there, you've got all these income pieces, and then you've got some refunds, but then you've also got all these expenses. So fulfilled by Amazon seller fees. And it's hard to always find all of these fees whenever you're looking at Amazon.
Yeah, no, exactly. Unfortunately, Amazon, this is not the case. These settlement statements that sellers receive fortnightly are impossible to reconcile. Amazon's financial reporting is terrible for actual accounting. So you can see it lumps revenue into non-revenue amounts. It gives you no ability to split out important fees and charges. So it's completely inappropriate for any sort of accrual accounting.
And did you, if you go back to that other screen, the other thing that you see here too, is it's not even done daily. This is done every 14 days. And so you get this statement shows you an entire month. But really these batches don't even happen at a month or day level. They happen every 14 days, which makes it
they can
harder.
happen between different months as well. So you could have, 1 week in September, 1 week in October. So they just love to make it difficult.
Right. It's impossible to be able to see how much it costs you to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what some accountants do is they will download all the raw data from Amazon. But it's just one big mess. Like this is what it will look like. So it's a whole lot of different fees and charges and files like this.
And
so
then
good luck.
Excel does that. Yeah.
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 And then it's time to walk away and make it.
That's what. Yeah.
And have a drink.
So if you use this method, it is so much data that it will eventually break your spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem, and that's what all these Amazon sellers are grappling with. Accountants often turn away Amazon sellers due to the nightmare of Amazon accounting, just no go.
Nope.
So A2X can solve that problem for you. With A2X, you have reliable, automated, time-saving Amazon accounting happiness. Here's how. So A2X connects Amazon systems to QuickBooks. It monitors the seller's Amazon account. It brings in the hundreds of different transactions, maps them into your chart of accounts, and post summarized journals to QuickBooks automatically. So A2X can make it easy. We will do all the heavy lifting and you get an email from A2X telling you that it's been posted to QuickBooks automatically. We go, like that. And it reconciles to the bank perfectly every time. So A2X will enable you to take advantage of this growing market and provide accounting solutions to millions of Amazon sellers worldwide. There you go.
Which is fantastic. And where our bookkeepers get really excited and we accountants get really excited is whenever these match our bank statements. And so we're able to actually see all of those fees. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it is.
I can't quit watching. And being able to see all of those fees is just fantastic because we need to know how much it costs us to sell on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know you guys are going into demo, so I have a couple of requests for the demo, if you have time to get to it, which, yeah. So Melissa's asking, can you talk about the different level of data brought in for dropship inventory versus regular inventory, which Amazon wouldn't really, I don't know if that was for earlier. And then the other one is from Matthew, said he'd like to see the summarized journal entry, what that looks like in QuickBooks.
Oh,
so just keep that in mind if you could do that. Oh, and somebody said they can't hear me.
I hear you great.
I'll do this a little. Is that better?
I hear you fantastic.
I got my little blue snowball here. Just do that.
It's really cool. Looks like the 50s.
It does. It's very retro.
Cool. So should we do a demo?
Yeah,
Yes,
let's go for it.
please.
All right. So just to the question on, can we show the journal detail? Yes, definitely. I will have some time for that. Can I just check, have we got 20 minutes to go, or sort of 10 minutes and then 10 minutes of questions? Is that roughly the timing, Liz?
I muted myself. We have a little segment at the end, so let's try and do this in about 10 minutes. Does that kind of work?
Perfect. Perfect. Cool. Okay. So thank you, Ellen. That was a great presentation. Was that your first one ever?
Yes, it was.
Well done. Well done.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
You're a natural.
Very
I
good.
think,
Very
well,
good.
yeah, I think that everybody's questions just accepted that you knew exactly what you were doing, and it was brilliant. So
It was probably the A2X on the beach.
Here's to you. Well done, Ellen.
Cheers. Yes.
Yes, well done,
Here's
indeed.
to Ellen.
Especially since it's 5 in the morning.
We'll
Tomorrow
drink.
morning.
We'll drink on your behalf, Ellen.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Cool. Okay, so let me get a demo going here. I will jump over to here. So I normally like to start a demo by kind of showing you where we're trying to get to. So if you can hopefully see my screen okay, you can see I'm in the bank screen on QuickBooks. I've got some deposits coming in from Amazon here. And the thing with Amazon is they pay you a lump sum and it's net of everything. So this one lump sum is net of all the fees and charges that Liz and Ellen were mentioning. All the advertising spend, all the commissions, all the fulfillment costs, but it includes all the shipping, all the taxes and everything. So understanding what that number actually is and accounting for all of the transactions is really important for an Amazon seller. And so to kind of show you where we're heading with this demo, you can see this line here. So this $26,000 deposit that's been received here, you can see an A2X journal has been detected as an exact match for that in QuickBooks. And so as the accountant or the bookkeeper, if we wanted to reconcile that payment to all of its transactions, we just simply click match, and that's all we need to do. So you're probably wondering what's on that journal that lets you do that. So the journal is going to look like this. Basically, you're going to have all of the different types of transactions grouped together, all the debits and all the credits. So you've got the commissions, the fulfillment fees, the inbound transport fees, the gift wrap, the everything. There's often dozens, sometimes even hundreds of different types of transactions that go on in each Amazon seller's account. And so we capture all of them. And then we total them all up and we determine the net payout amount. And that net payout amount is transferred into the bank account, so that when QuickBooks sees that amount in the bank account, it knows that this is the corresponding journal for that. And then we attach to that journal the raw data from Amazon. So that way, if you need to support these numbers with an audit and years later, all of the raw data exactly as Amazon provided it is attached. So that's where we're headed with this demo. So what I'll do, I'll start with what A2X looks like and how we get to that point. So a typical A2X account is going to look like this. You've got a connection to Amazon. In this case, we're connected to Amazon.com. And you've got your connection to QuickBooks. In this case, obviously just to our demo account. And what you'll see below is all of the different settlements that have come in from Amazon. So these are the payments that we're expecting and the date ranges that they cover. And you can drill into any one of them to see what's in them. So if you remember, we had this one over here, the $26,000 settlement. So if we come over to here, we can actually click in and see everything that's in that settlement. So if we expand this invoice detail, you can see all of the commissions, all of the FBA fees, all of those charges that we saw in QuickBooks are all itemized here, and you can review those. And you can also see the accounts and taxes that we've set up. So I'll skip over the actual how to connect steps. When you first create your A2X account, you will need to connect to Amazon and QuickBooks. There is just one thing I wanted to show you quickly, and it sort of more relates to being an accountant or a bookkeeper and working with A2X. So if you are connecting Amazon, and I'll just pretend that I'm reconnecting this one just to show you what it looks like. So if you're connecting Amazon to A2X, if you're the owner of the Amazon account, so if you're the seller and you have the primary login, then you can make this connection directly yourself. But if you're an invited user in the account, like an accountant or an integrator, a bookkeeper that's helping the seller, you can't make that connection yourself. And so you have to either invite the client or your seller client into the account to do it, or you can send them an email using this part of A2X, send them an email that basically invites them to make the connection for you. So that's how you do the connection to Amazon. The connection to QuickBooks is going to look exactly like you're used to with any other app. So it's just a QuickBooks logo, log into QuickBooks, come back to A2X. So once those two connections are in place, A2X is going to import all of that data, and you're going to start seeing the settlements filling in just like you can see them here in the demo. And once we've got that data, there's really one major thing we need to know so that we can send that data to QuickBooks. And that is, how do you want to take the Amazon transactions and turn those into an accounting transaction? So that's what we do on the accounts and taxes screen. So what we've done is we've grouped together at a sort of a high level a whole lot of the different types of transactions that you might see in an Amazon account. So for example, adjustments, delivery, commissions, fulfillment. These are kind of broad categories that group together lots of different types of transactions into sort of logically connected groups. Inside of each one of these broad groups are all of the individual types. So for example, if we looked at the fulfillment and warehousing, so you can see there's per unit fees, there's removal fees, there's storage fees, there's warehouse prep fees. So if your client just wants to see their FBA fees at a high level, then you can simply map Amazon FBA fees here. But if they were particularly worried about how much they were spending on warehouse prep and they wanted to monitor, for example, how much they're spending on warehouse prep to decide whether it might be worth hiring staff to help them do the prep before they send it to Amazon, then you might want to put that into its own account, like maybe you have one called warehouse prep. And this would be able to, so I don't actually have one, but you would have one there that would let you put that into its own account in the ledger and track it separately in the P&L, in the profit and loss statement, and report on it from all of the financial metrics.
And so actually, I'm just going to like interject here and say, this is where we end up looking like a genius, because my client had zero idea that they were paying commissions. And so they didn't realize that Amazon was getting a commission based on every single one of their sales. And when they connected to A2X and they were able to see that, all of a sudden they went, wow, I had no idea that I was getting charged a commission to sell on Amazon. Again, it's still a really, really easy solution. So lots of our clients are choosing it, but it's really important to know how your money is being spent and how much you're actually making. To your bottom line.
It's very opaque, because it's such a, just a lump sum payment. The actual contents of that is so important for a seller to really understand how their business is performing, especially because there can be tax included in that amount. There can be capital transactions like loans or even amounts held back. So yeah, as an accountant, being able to provide that level of detail and put it into the appropriate places in an accounting system is crucial for the business. So that's what you can do with A2X. So you can define your accounts and tax mappings at a high level, or where you need to or want to for your clients' requirements, you can get right into the very low level transactions and override any of these. The other thing that I'll just note from an accounting and bookkeeping point of view, once you have a mapping that you like and you have a chart of accounts that you're happy with and is working well, you can actually just reuse an existing mapping. So when you sign up a new client, if you've got more or less the same requirements and more or less the same ledger as your previous clients, you can just copy those mappings directly across. So that makes bringing on new clients, new Amazon clients, really fast and easy. And it means you can just work on one set of accounts that you can train your staff, and you can kind of scale up your firm much more easily that way by having standardized mappings and standardized ledger accounts. So that's kind of the accounting setup for A2X. That tells A2X how you want to take Amazon data and get it into the accounting system. And then once that's been done, you'll be able to see those settings applied in the settlements. So if we looked at the one that I haven't sent, which is so let's do this $170 smaller settlement. So if we looked at that one, so this is a much smaller Amazon business settlement, so we'll only have a few transactions in there. But you can see the commissions, the fulfillment fees, the sale amounts have all been assigned the correct accounts. And then if we send that to QuickBooks, you'll basically see it show up over here. So the amount we're looking for is $170.34. And if we skip over to here and reload, we should see that there. So you can see that that deposit for $170 and the corresponding A2X settlement has been detected. And all we'd have to do is click match. And so if we open that journal, you'll be able to see all of those transactions that I just showed you, including the expected payout, which matches. So all we'd do, we know it's matched, so we know all of the transactions that went into that have been found, and then we just simply click match, and it's done. And we can do the same for that larger one. So the other scenario, and it's one that Alan sort of alluded to earlier, is because of the 2 weekly settlement cycle that Amazon has, or typically has, you can easily end up with a situation like this one, where you have a settlement that runs between 2 months. So this one only just runs between 2 months. You can see it's the last day of October and then 14 days of November. So this is about as good as it gets, right? There's hardly any overlap. But even in this one, there's enough of a timing difference that if you booked all of this in November and ignored the fact that some of these transactions happened in October, you'd be shifting $2,000 worth of finances into the wrong period. So from an accounting point of view, especially if you want to do accurate accrual accounting, breaking the settlement down and putting the transactions in the correct periods is really important, especially if you can imagine if this was the 20th of October to say the 4th of November, this could be massively weighted towards October transactions. And if you booked it in November, then your October month is going to look terrible. So your client might be thinking, oh gosh, what's happened in October? I had a terrible month. But actually it's just that the sales and fees and charges were accounted for in the wrong period. So that's one of the things A2X solves as well. So I'll show you what happens when we do this. So you can see over here, we've still got the single payment. So that's still that single payment that arrived from Amazon, and it arrived around the 16th of November. But you can see over here, the settlement ran from October to November. So when we come back over here, now that's been sent, we still get an exact match. So that's important, right? We can still see that the total expected payout that A2X calculated matches what Amazon paid us. So we know we got paid the right amount, and we know that all of those transactions have been captured. The difference is, if we look at this journal, you'll see all of the transactions that you're expecting to see, including the final payout. The difference is that balance from October has been carried forward into November. And so you might be thinking, where's it been carried forward from, or how have they done that? And the way we do that is, just have to move this out of the way so I can get there. The way we do that is with a carried balance journal. So you can see this 31st of October journal. If we click into that, you can see this contains all of the transactions that we detected in the October period. So we've created an October period journal. We've totaled up all of the transactions. we've determined how much Amazon owed you at the end of October, and we've carried that forward as a balance into the next period. So if you ran your balance sheet at the end of October, you're going to see there's a pending balance there owed by Amazon. And then into our November, it will get carried forward so that the final expected payout matches what you're expecting. So that way we can just simply click match, and we know that all of those transactions have been captured and put in the correct accounting period. So that is A2X. I don't probably have time to cover some of the more advanced features we have around cost of goods sold and inventory, but I wanted to just mention that we do have those features. So you can track all of the sales that happened in each period. You can assign costs and track the cost of goods, and you can also track the value of the inventory in the Amazon warehouses. So the combination of those two things lets you do very detailed inventory financials and inventory accounting for your clients as well.
Actually, I think that was a really, really nice demo. And I've been answering questions as we've been going along. And so our responses are really great. I think the thing that everybody's really thrilled about is the same thing that I was excited about, being able to see the breakdown inside of QuickBooks, which is the pieces that are relevant to us accountants. We want to be able to see the total sales. We want to be able to see all of our fees. And that helps us to be able to determine how much is Amazon costing us. And then if we want to be able to dive deeper into the actual sell itself, that's where we go into Amazon. So we're not getting all of those details that are muddying up our QuickBooks inside of QBO. Instead, we're being able to see how much it actually cost us to sell.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
it's a really important distinction to make between the operational side of an Amazon business, the managing listings and SKUs and products and things, and the accounting and financial side. And we see smaller sellers tend to make that mistake where they don't distinguish.
Yes.
And they end up trying to make QuickBooks their kind of operational system. And
I agree.
It might work when you have 5 SKUs or 10 SKUs and 10 orders a day.
When
but
you
once
start
you have
getting
1,000 SKUs and hundreds of orders a day, it gets a real mess really quickly. I
don't want to miss an opportunity for people who do want to connect with you. So I'd like to go ahead and push out our question for those people who do want to have A2X reach out to them. Actually, I think I'm going to take the ball back or pass it to Heather.
Yeah, I'm going to take that. If you guys could put into the Q&A your email address, I will forward that over to A2X and we'll have them reach out to you. So I think that's the easiest way for us to do it. So
because there's quite a bit of questions and I've been answering them, but I want to make sure that you get all of those people who want to actually have you reach out to them.
Absolutely.
So
Fantastic.
Ashley, Ellen, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're thrilled that you were here, and we're thrilled that you've created this solution for us because we feel like it's for us. Probably not exactly directly for us, but we feel like it's for us. So thank you. Cheers to that. Wait, this gives me another opportunity to say thank you.
Cheers indeed.
Yes.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
It's so awesome.
And looking at my Christmas tree makes me think, Heather, do you want to show our really cool Christmas thing that you've done?
I do want to show this. So what we've decided to do for our coolest thing we've done with an app this month. And I was thinking, Liz, we have to come up with some music, like, the coolest thing we've done with an app this month. So we're going to work on that for next time.
Okay. I need to do a drum roll.
So we're going to send holiday cards using lists from QuickBooks and Thankster or Postable. So there's a couple of ways that you can create mailing lists out of QuickBooks Online specifically. You can create labels directly from QuickBooks Desktop, right? You just go and you create your labels and they print them out, and then you can do whatever with your Christmas cards and do it that way. But with QuickBooks Online, we don't have that built-in functionality. So I'm just going to go through real quick how to do that. So what you're going to do in your QuickBooks Online is you're going to go to the report center and you're going to create a customer contact list. So if you go into your report center, you create that customer contact list. The first thing that you have to do is enable the different fields that you're going to need in order to create those addresses. Okay, so to do that, just go to reports, type in customer contact list in that lovely search box that we have now, which I'm so excited. Our clients had that, right? Our clients had that. I was like, I want one. I mean, you could do it up at the top, but it's nice having it in the report center. So you're going to go ahead and select the different fields that you need. and you're going to create that report, and then you're going to export it to Excel. Okay. And so you'll export it to Excel, and then depending on the different app that you're going to use, those columns are going to have to be in a certain order, right? Because just like when we're importing lists into QuickBooks Online, right, with the different apps that you can use, they're going to have their own format, and most of them have templates. So you can just download their template, and then you just copy the different information from the different columns into their template, and then you're going to upload them. And so that's almost, I mean, it's pretty much the same for all of these types of apps out there, and there's a whole bunch of them. I'm showing Thankster and Postable. What I like about Thankster, and you use Send Out Cards, right? Which has the ability to do the same thing. But what I liked about Thankster, which is what I'm showing, is it has a Zapier integration. And so as you are, if you wanted to automate like a thank you card or, you know, a little gift or something to your clients that you're onboarding, or maybe you just finished an engagement with them or something, you could actually have triggers that will send them cards and things like that. So that's pretty cool. You can do that. And I think there were 7 apps on there. Let me just grab the names. I have the names written down for you in here, so you just have to bear with me for a second. Oh, look, I'm showing. There we go. Thankster, Tango Card, Handwritten, and Printfection. Those are the 4 that I kind of jotted down that were on the Zapier platform. So
it's nice to automate it too, because then you'll never forget when a job is done. You can just thank them, and it means so much when they get the card.
It does. It does. And I mean, for the holiday cards, if you haven't done this before, then you're still going to need to use this method to get, you know, your list out into Excel. Let me go back to my sprite to get it out into Excel and then import it in. And each one has their own button for the import or whatever, but you'll go ahead and import them in, and then you'll create your card. Now the pricing for Thankster, you buy credits. So you buy credits, and then you would go ahead and apply the credits to whatever you're doing. And then you would also pay for the value of the card. So you can see they have these 6 different options for your Christmas cards. So once you import them, then what you're going to do is you're going to go through the little wizard to create the card. So you're going to put in right here where it says, you know, if you were just sending one, you'd put in the address information. This is where you're going to import your Excel list. Then what you're going to do is you're going to add all the selected contacts to your project name. And then you're going to go ahead and put in your return address. Okay, so that's you. And then this is the coolest part. Like, you can use different fonts to make it look like it's handwritten.
Look pretty.
Yeah, and they have a whole bunch of different options. So you can find the one that looks the most like your actual handwriting.
That's nice.
And you could like put in your little message, and then you can add it to all of your recipients. So you create, I know, right? You create one, and then what you're able to do is you're able to copy all the attributes from the first card to your whole list. So this is actually Craig's design and landscaping service. If Craig was a real person, then we would be able, well, maybe, but if he were a real person, then we'd be able to send all the Christmas cards out.
And
for
it's
him.
Paperless. Yay.
So this is what the card looks, and it's
Oh,
paperless.
it does look good. That looks real.
Well, it's not really paperless because they're going to actually get a paper card in the mail.
They're gonna get a card. Okay.
So you're going to preview your cards, but it does. It looks like Craig
It does
actually,
handwritten.
yeah, it looks like he wrote it. And then you're going to add them to the shopping cart and then place your order. So that is Thankster. Yeah, it's very cool. It has APIs, so you can actually connect it to other applications that you use. So you're able to set up automations in like Pipedrive or other types of apps. You could create your own custom integration if you want, or just use Zapier, and then you could set up, you know, there's also a place to put in like birthdays and things. So you can set up little automations for that too. Now, the plus of Thankster is it integrates with Zapier. So we can do all kinds of cool automations. And you could also do this where you export, if you want to set up a Zap, and I thought about doing it, like we could set up a Zap and do like the whole new line in Excel and have it automate everything, but just upload it. It's easier. The one that I fell in love with though, does not have a Zapier integration, and I was kind of sad, but I love it because it's got a super neat, fun, streamlined interface. You still have the ability to upload, but what's really cool about it is you get a link that you can send out to your contacts to have them update their contact information, and it actually builds a contact list here, and they have a whole bunch of different cards. So their selection, there was only 6 for holiday cards in Thankster. There was like all these different artists that have really beautiful designs. So you have a lot more flexibility as far as the end product that you want. So, but there's no Zapier integration, sad face.
But you'll get there.
I sent him an email. I sent him an email like, I love your app, but you need to be on Zapier.
But
So I was like, you need to be on Zapier, but I love your app. So they're really pretty. And then another cheaper but more time-consuming option is you could create labels in Word using your mail merge. So create that report in QuickBooks Online, export it, then import into mail merge, print out your labels, and then you can just stick them on the envelopes. So, or you could also do an email if you want. Lots of different ways that you can do that. So you know, lots of different ways to automate our Christmas cards with our QuickBooks data, right? Because you could export your customer list, your vendor list.
Really nice.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work.
huge time saver. So that's
Fantastic.
what I had for a cool thing this month. Was that cool?
love it. I think it was awesome. Like,
Awesome.
I think I'm going to do it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm building my Postable account, and I'm gonna do it in the next couple of days.
And then you'll have
yes.
Zapier on it.
Right. If you want a Christmas card from me, just put you
Just fill in your own data.
Right. Yeah. I'll send you a link and you can fill out your own data. All right. Because, you know, it's always better when you do the work.
Exactly. It's right too. Then there's no mistakes.
Then there's no mistakes. Yeah.
And I want to make sure, I've got several different people who have responded that they want more information. And so before we go, I want to just give everybody just one more chance to say, if they want to post their email address, we will make sure that A2X gets that.
Definitely. And, you know, the other thing is on our website, if you go to the bar book, A2X has a page there with the drink recipe from today. So if you go click on that, you can reach out to them directly as well. So if you didn't get your email in there, you can reach out to Ashley or Ellen, and they'll reach out to you directly. So you can do that. And you can make an A2X on the beach, which is good. Yes.
Who doesn't want one?
Right?
And Mark has even joined in and he said, how do you keep drinking those and stay straight? And I said, we got skills.
Right.
That's what we got.
So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ashley and Ellen, for coming on the Appy Hour. I learned so much because I haven't had a chance to use A2X, so I'm super excited about it. And I actually do have an Amazon client that I'm going to be starting with at the beginning of fiscal year 2019. So I will be contacting you for sure.
Awesome.
So thank you so much. We had a lot of fun with you guys, and it's a great, great product. So super excited to share it with the world.
Cool. Thank you so much, Liz and Heather, for having us. It's been awesome. Really appreciate it.
We've enjoyed it.
We really have.
Cool.
So enjoy your warm weather. Here in Oklahoma, it is not. So enjoy your warmth.
Just a couple reminders, visit our website. If you haven't signed up, if you're watching from Facebook Live, you can actually register for our shows. We'll remind you when they're coming up. And you can also learn about our sponsors, get the drink recipes from the show, read our blog, send us a message. You can interact with our little robot, the little robot. Yeah, it'll tell you where to go on our site. So we definitely want to hear from you. So please do that. The other thing is to visit A2X's website, check out their drink recipe. Like us on Facebook if you want to win that backpack. Like us on Facebook or Twitter. And on Friday we're gonna draw somebody at random to win that. And thank you for spending an hour getting Appy with us. One quick thing, and this is something that only you guys know until we actually publish it all over social media, is we're going to do a pop-up Appy hour tomorrow at 4 to reveal. It's going to be a short one. It won't be a whole hour. But we're going to reveal a brand new feature that's in QuickBooks Labs. And if you want to peek, you can just go look. But if you want to do it with us, then you want to jump on. So we'll post that link on our Facebook page, and we'll also be throwing it out through Twitter and Facebook and all that other stuff. So hopefully we'll see you guys on that tomorrow.
I agree. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Oh, and how about our next show, Liz?
Oh, yeah. We're going to be doing New Year's resolutions and making those attainable and using Live Plan to be able to start learning how to be that strategic advisor. So really excited about the Live Plan training that's available to us. And so they're going to come on and they're going to show us what exactly they have created for us accountants to be able to tap into. We keep hearing this trusted advisor term. And so they're going to come on and show us what their platform is like for training, not only just in Live Plan, but training for being able to offer those types of services. Amazing content.
I love Live Plan. So if you haven't checked it out, you definitely don't want to miss next next month's webinar. So,
Thank you for having me at your office.
oh
You shut
yeah,
up?
let me stop my share and then we'll all get big again. There we are.
Thank you
Yeah,
for having me
thank
at your
you, Linda,
office.
so much for coming and hanging out with us.
I'm really glad I got to. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed the session that Liz did in Canada. That was amazing, and
Oh, thanks.
knowing the app world and everything, it's so fascinating. And I'm actually going to California on Thursday. I've been traveling.
Oh my gosh,
I'm going
you're
to
like
California.
a jet setter.
I'm meeting with Matthew Fulton, and we're going to. He's going to demo his app, Vendor Sync, which
Oh,
is
cool.
a QuickBooks app for desktop that actually makes desktop bank feeds like online. So it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And finally, I'll get home right before Christmas. Sorry, honey, if you're watching.
Home for the holidays.
Home for the holidays.
He's taking care of the cats.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Bye,
I will
everyone.
post that link for the pop-up Appy Hour in our Facebook page and on Twitter. So look for that. Thanks,
And
everybody.
thank you,
And thank you so
HUX.
much.
Oh my
Yes,
God, thank
HUX.
you.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.